Welcome back to the absolute most professional StarCraft 2. You're not going to be the least bit surprised to hear me introduce the rank 1 player in the game. In my not so humble opinion, the greatest StarCraft 2 player of all time. It is the finisher. It's Serral. And joining him for the second time in about as many weeks in a top-tier tournament finals, we have the Frenchman from Team Liquid, the rank 2 player in the world and the #1 Terran. Of course, it's Clem. A best of 5 Terran versus Zerg. And apparently, it was supposed to be a best of 7, but all the other competitors here in Homestory Cup 24 managed to take long enough to lose to the... Well, they were running short on time, so both players agreed to a best of 5. But I don't think that means it's going to be a particularly short series. But Serral continues to have the edge. He's looking for one more Homestory Cup, and then he'll have one for each of the fingers on his incredibly valuable hand, which is a weird way to phrase that. Anyways, it'd be his 5th Homestory Cup. Clem, I don't know how many he's won, but everyone else has less. So, Serral looking for one more cup, and me looking for one more reason to beg you to like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,207 likes on this video, on this grand finals experience. Thank you to TakeTV for putting on Homestory Cup, of course. But 1,207 likes, and I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know what else I would do in my life. But thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And it's always a good day to watch the best players in the best game battle it out. A Reaper. Not the least bit surprising. The only thing that would be surprising is if it actually managed to kill anything. Not even a Zergling so far. We're starting out on Equilibrium, which is definitely our most divisive map. We don't see it, even Radicet Station, with its kind of awkward air distances and pocket bases, sees more play overall, I think, than Equilibrium, which does have bases that expand away from each other, which creates, well, one, some obvious half-map scenarios, and two, makes going for drops and air in general a lot more valuable in the later game. Now, yeah, if we were going to cut the map in half, though, there's a pretty obvious method to do so. A lot of nasty tank locations. Very important to note, there's the gold base, the rich Vespine geyser in the center as well. Sometimes, especially in more aggressively oriented matchups, we'll see players take that early on. But, oh, Cyclones! Sorry. Got a bit distracted. Brenda bounce over the top. Good airtime on that one. But overall, going to be driven back. It's a Cyclone opener out of Clem. I doubt this will be mech. I'm not ruling it out. He's got the Hurricane thrusters. But those Cyclones kind of back to a more spammable unit with the newest patch, now a few months old. Allowing the Cyclones to, well, overall, they're more fragile. They got less HP. They don't move quite as quick until they get the Hurricane thrusters upgrade, where I guess they just slap a few rocket boosters on the back of them or something. But you can build them out of a reactor. They cost significantly less, only $125.50, so about the same price as a Stalker. And still maintain that ability to lock on and micro away, especially from things like Queens, for example. So it makes them a much stronger tool than Hellions and Reapers for taking out those early Queens, though not necessarily a late game option. So poking and prodding, and the Queen has to run away as there's no easy way to close the distance on the edge of the creep here. The Zerglings are waiting for their moment. Some roaches are on the way. Serral's at 52 drones, so he hasn't gotten too greedy here. But Clem is only at 40 SCVs, clearly intent on getting as much done as possible. The roaches are about to start popping out. The Cyclones poking and prodding here, as Serral biding his time, waiting until he gets as many units as possible. Nothing has been really threatened yet. If Clem goes a little too far, then the Zerglings are going to wrap around and eat up those Cyclones, even though they can take them out pretty quick. Hurricane thrusters in 13 seconds. Stim is on the way behind. Clem is actually rallying Marines here. He's keeping the pressure on. And here comes Serral. He's decided now's the time. He looks for the wraparound. There's only 2 Hellions with this army. He's microing back, doing that little janky stutter step. as the Cyclones. Did I stutter? Indeed I did. You do have to stop moving in order to lock on again, but they automatically do so. It's essentially just a better auto attack. And I really thought, and so did Serral clearly, that he could get the wraparound on those Cyclones and at least take some of them out. But 3 Cyclones and 2 Hellions down. I think Clem's getting away with it. I don't know if he meant to rally these Marines across. I don't know where everybody else is going. We got our wires crossed. Hey. Daylight savings time, guys. We're coming back. Oh, that happened a while ago. All right, all the days blend together for me. I just watched good StarCraft. Anyways, Overseer's on the way. It's going to spot the most important info, which is it's not mech. Okay, he's not going mech. It's going to be bio. Of course, it's Clem. So you can make Cyclones for 12 minutes. It'd still be a bio build. The Roach Ravager looking to zone out, but Serral on pushing the Cyclones back, snuck out another dozen, maybe 2 drones, and now has 72 at a 4th base on the way. So Clem, you really... Serral just... It's not Zerg, okay? It's Serral, I think, at this point, where no other Zerg is so clearly dangerous when left alone for just a few seconds. Because Serral will do the right thing, because what Serral does is the right thing. Not like, oh, I guess I'll get my infestation pit now, and no. He got just enough to hold the line, and now he's getting a Baneling Nest, 2 more hatcheries, alongside that infestation pit. He's going up to 85, 90 drones. He's not going to do some sort of half-hearted attack with the roaches. Instead, he got enough to hold the line, and now he's confident he can go up to Hive Tech and potentially get game-ending damage there. 88 drones is full 4-base saturation. 16 on minerals, 6 on gas. 4 bases. I did the math. I did the math a long time ago, and I've just been relying on that since then. But exactly perfect 4-base saturation. Getting another base here. The Queens make their way down just in time, but Clem is not one to sit back. He knows how dangerous Serral gets when left alone for really any amount of time. Serral and toddlers have a few things in common. One is, don't leave them alone or disasters might happen to you. Another is they cost you a lot of money. In this case, it's prize money. That didn't come together. But so far, Serral's strategy definitely has. Where 1-1 is finishing for both sides. Clem getting the infantry weapons and armor. Zerglings getting +1 melee attack and carapace. Hive is nearly completed despite all the early aggression. The Ravagers cover the retreat. And Clem, again, getting close to Serral on APM, which is just a crazy, maddening thing that no other Terran. Oh my. Either way, though, Baneling speed target fire gets out. Queen's not there to poke and prod. There is no direct anti-air aside from the Queen. Some infestors are on the way. Adrenal glands the moment the hive finishes. Burrow's already completing 3 Vipers in production, which is 1 more than we usually see. So that is the standout so far. Ultraless Cavern already. Serral, well, he's got to withstand this push. Clem is nearly maxed out alongside Serral here, and he's got a tank push coming up. These players, the macro has not stopped. Most people would struggle to get this supply without an opponent. With these upgrades and this much infrastructure, both of them have been poking and prodding the entire time and are still maxed out before 10 minutes. The Infestor pops up for a huge fungal, but the tanks put it down nearly immediately. It doesn't matter, though. A lot of the Banelings are able to close the distance, but this fight was far more costly than Serral intended it to be. That Infestor was ready to get the fungal, but it was just a split second too late. But now the Vipers are out. Serral has refilled. Ultra's on the way. Blinding Cloud. Is there enough for a Parasitic Bomb? Not quite. But Ravagers are able to knock down 1. A small attack. Well, there's still 1 Blinding Cloud. Yanks in the tank, not blinded. Banelings trying to close in. Another attack to the south side. Well, the drop is coming in again. Looks like Clem was able to drive back the Banelings off a creep. As, without creep, without something to close the distance, Clem Doesn't matter, you have 20 banelings, that's target practice. But the queens, taking a bite out of the medevacs, but the queens themselves, the Frenchmen gunning them down and looking for, oh my god, he got all the baits. Oh, not again. How does this keep happening? Well, immense amounts of skill. Does he have a parasitic bomb? He does, he's already dropping out. +2 is about to complete, but Clem is keeping so much pressure on. Oh my god. Serral is starting to crumble, but he's got ultras on the way, and the ultras will help stabilize as no amount of marine micro. Well, let me revise that statement. The amount of marine micro required to kill ultras is significant, but not so significant that Clem won't pull it off as he guns down an ultralist, but no chitinous plating yet. Those banelings, he needs an infestor. You simply cannot touch the marines. They will not die. The cost efficiency is ridiculous. So far, Serral has lost 4,000 more minerals already. Oh, but the Ravagers, corrosive bile, before the tank can get anything, 8 drones down. Clem still has enough production, but this is the last army before Ultras and Vipers are fully online. He doesn't have Ultra speed, but he does have chitinous plating. Serral has held on to his bases. The Ultras intercept the tanks. Blinding Cloud shuts them down, and there's an infestor on the back line. It's all coming together. The blinding clouds are so much, the infestor actually joins up, and Serral, with a wombo combo, eviscerates the army. Everything comes together. And the masterpiece of a fight from Serral looks like it'll be enough to carry him through to a victory. In game 1, they went back and forth, and then Serral just landed the haymaker right there. And Clem is reeling right now. The Ultras, buying enough time. Actually, the repair was almost enough until the banelings close in. The Bioball try to target down the Ultras, but there's just too much meat and not enough potatoes. I don't know what that meant, but I know what GG does. Good game is called, and Serral takes game 1. Wow, that turned fast. Serral manages to get up to Hive before ghosts are even an idea. Wow. God, they're so good. Clem's Marines invalidating Zerg up until Viper Ultra is online. God. I get tired just watching. But both these players. God, Serral. It looked like he was fraying at the edges. Just a little bit. With those drops and those pushes. But he consolidated it all. He kind of gave up the outsides in order to keep the core intact. And I think if Clem had another 30 seconds, a minute before the Ultras and Vipers, like that fight in the middle of the map, it was perfect. That was a perfect fight. Blinding Cloud on all the tanks. Gets a fungal before the Ultras are being targeted. It could not have gone much better. And Serral just sets it up. After playing defense the entire game, his first attack is the game winner. And here we are, hard lead. A tough map for Zerg, customarily. In fact, Clem has beaten Serral the last couple times on this map, as the rush distance is relatively short. There aren't that many bases to work with, and a decent amount of tank locations as well. It's crazy to me how much Clem's Marines invalidate banelings. Banelings are very strong, but if Clem gets any amount, like a half second is all he needs, and suddenly any baneling, especially off creep, it ain't happening. And that's why Serral was preemptively going for the Burrow Festers, as well as the rushing to Hive Tech. As without Blinding Cloud, so just controlled two of the most fragile spellcasters in the game, while defending multi-pronged marine drops with units that don't have anti-air to shoot down the medevacs. I guess the Queens helped a bit, but... God. He doesn't make it look easy. But It's decisive. I don't know. It's crazy. Or whatever the opposite of crazy is. Reaper gets a kill, so I'm calling this one for Clem right now. Serral goes for the triangle base on the low ground as opposed to the linear one. I'm not sure if that was just to prevent the Reaper from blocking out the drone, or if he prefers it. Usually the linear base is the one chosen to make it harder for medevacs to get too much damage early. Because if you take the base on that low ground, yes, a Zergling got in, because of course it did. Gonna get a full scout. A full scout. And then the Hellion will roast it. But when you take this third base, a medevac drop coming in from the left side can simultaneously threaten your third and your main. Of course, if you're able to get the fourth up and have creep spread and all those goodies in time, you can potentially protect your main as well. So some players will look at it like that. I wouldn't be surprised if Serral's one of them. But it does make it quite a pain early. Of course, if you want to take it as a fourth base, that's also a vulnerable point. No matter where you go, medevacs are going to be a threat. It's just a question of when and where specifically. Reaper Hellion poking and prod. Not going to be Cyclones this time around. Back to a more conventional... Oh my god. Another Zergling gets in. Just in case he wasn't sure about what was going on before, he confirms very importantly it's not a Banshee, not like a battle cruiser, nothing like that. No mech. It is straight up 3 CC, 3 barracks, bio follow-up. About as cookie as you can cut it. That made sense, right? The Spore Crawler will be finishing literally 3 seconds before the Liberator gets there. As Serral realized it was going to be Liberator by the lack of a tech lab on that starport. And a Baneling that's... Oh my god, he's zoning the 4th. But I'm pretty sure the Queens indeed spotted it. Yeah, Serral. Oh, he's eating it. He's actually just gonna fight. Wow. He may have lost a Queen there, but almost kills the Liberator. I think Clem expected him to just straight up fight with the Queen, but covers for the drone. No. Incidental creep tumor kill. Small mistake. All right, Serral washed up, clearly. No Evo chamber. Edit that out. Evo chambers starting now. Well after going for Lair and Baneling speed. Keeping those options open. But this time around, Clem's going to have a significant upgrade advantage. It's going to be at least 30-45 seconds, and we saw how important 30-45 seconds are between these two. Now, does he get the infestation pit immediately? Or are we going to stay on that lair tech a little more, a little longer? Serral at 75 drones at 6 minutes. Going up to 4 and 5 hatch. Oh my god. He's got 200 gas in the bank. Which, for most players, would not seem like a big number, but for Serral, it's wondering where he's going to put it. As this push was scouted, I'm sure Serral anticipated a medevac timing. That doesn't mean you can shut it down before it starts, just, again, it's going to be Serral dealing with it. Is that a siege tank? Oh my, does that? He dropped it up there, then. Well, he's gonna use that as a foothold, a beachhead there for the Marines. Here come the Marines at the start. A bunch of Zerglings on the other side of the map. You gotta respect them. +1 isn't done quite yet, but he's about to have the triple threat, quadruple threat, actually. Stim, combat shield, and both infantry upgrades. Serral went for the counterattack here. It may very well work out for him. Oh, but the Hellions, he shuts down the Banelings. Only 2 SCV kills so far. 3? Wow, what a great shutdown from Clem. And Serral committed a lot there. Here come the Banelings. They're off the creep. They're on the run, but he actually gets away with it. The tank will be taken out. The Hellions coming in, sniping off the Banelings as well, and the creep. Yeah, wherever the 4th base is, Clem pushing the issue. As the creep is minimal there. He's shut down even more of it. Widow Mines with Drilling Claws. Well, Drilling Claws on the way. I assume Widow Mines are going to be produced. Clem maintaining that army supply. A Hydralist Den on the way for Serral. Not looking to speed into Hive Tech. Knows he needs as many units as possible right here, right now. Another tank on the high ground. Some Hellbats to protect it. Gonna have all the angles blocked off here and try to fight as efficiently as possible. I'm really working the map itself right now. The Zerglings and Banelings are gonna try to wrap around. 2-2 is on the way, plus 2 Carapace here for Serral. Marines still looking. Oh, targets Banelings. Any Banelings that get close. Queens are starting to run low on energy. But the Lings and Banes of the backline, but that spread, I can't believe it's not butter. Lings and Banes looking to break their way through, but the Hellbats at the backline. Siege tank, target firing, the Banelings getting huge clumps of them. The Hellbats are protecting so well, but eventually will go down. So Serral cleans it up, but we have to ask ourselves the eternal question. At what cost? Overall, Clem killed 1,000 more resources and minerals and 500 more gas. This is the kind of momentum that Clem can potentially turn. Oh, the Widow Mine diffused, but another shot from downtown. Other Widow Mines kind of wandering in, but Serral still continuing to be on the back feet here, as his units have so many. And 2-2 isn't even done yet. Clem will potentially have an upgrade advantage if he can maintain this army supply. That could be devastating, but another Widow Mine fires. It's mostly Zerg, but Banelings roll in. The splash damage from both sides. Devastating. It's just Marines left over. More Banelings coming up. 1, 2. And that's the end of the target fire for now. Clem sending medevacs to the left side. It's not a fake. Instead, he's sending another attack there. Serral just now started his infestation pit, which means he's a long way off getting that Hive Tech. Plus 2 weapons done. Widow Mines to defuse the situation. Another Widow Mine. Sacrificing a lot of Zerglings to deal with this. Clem has a better supply right now. He's going to have better upgrades for quite a bit. Again, being pushed back. The Widow Mines. Oh, detonating. Big hit. Serral losing more. That siege tank on the back line, just a full spread of factory units to support these Marines. And again, Serral will clean it up, but he's gonna take heavy losses, and he doesn't have the tech to fall back on this time. The army supply is not there. Serral is being ground down in a hard-fought war of attrition. Microing back, loses 1 medevac. Clem keeping it together. Oh, a bit of miss micro, or just wanted to sacrifice for the greater good. The production will continue on the way across the map. Widow Mines continue to close in. Very hard to be cost-effective against them, but trying to draw some of the mines into the Terran army. But another force of bio will continue to pry the supply lead more heavily in favor of Clem. And Serral just can't put enough together right now. Target fire. There's only 2 or 3 Banes left. He actually misses a target. He has to fall back, but another Widow Mine diffuses it with a single Zergling. But there's no detection here. It's recharging. He has to spend money on Overseers, which are not free and do not help your army. The Hive is on the way. A Lurker Den is about to complete, but this time around, Clem has 3-3 on the way, and he's got a Ghost Academy in production. More Widow Mines looking for a shot. Gets a chunk. Serral refuses to crumble here. He's holding it together. He's stretched about as thin as you could be, but he's holding on to all of his bases so far. The Overseer trying to draw the mine shots. He loses it. The Bio Ball is just getting too strong. The sheer amount of Marines and Marauders micros the Marines back behind the lines. Falls back further, but the Banelings do close the distance. The Marines didn't fall back far enough. And now an Infestor is out. 1 Fungal could be devastating. A couple Widow Mines could as well. He's able to take out 1. He gets a Fungal onto the medevacs, of which there are 2 full. And oh my god, by the skin of his teeth, gets 2 of them out. full payloads of Marines. And Serral was that close, I think, to turning this game around. If those two medevacs go down, that is enough momentum for Serral to get his hive tech online. But with that said, Clem has taken the base in the center of the map. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Serral is barely holding on to the same number, which is not a good sign for a Zerg player who's lost almost twice as many minerals. The Widow Mines continue to get shots up. Clem is getting the late game now. Fusion core, starport, +1 plating, 3-3 closing in. More overseers coming up. Serral near 500 APM, and he's using all of it and then some. Widow Mine comes in, hits more Marines than it hits Zerglings, surrounds and kills one of the Marauders, but more mines over to the right flank. 3-3 is nearly done. Clem does not stop. He cannot stop. He's tearing through so much right now. The upgrades are complete. Serral cannot max out. The pressure is on, and the hard lead seems like it's too much. Another Widow Mine hit from downtown, and Serral might be down to 2 letters on his keyboard pretty soon if he can't turn it around with a fight in just a moment or two. He doesn't have adrenal glands. He doesn't have any hive tech. Vipers are on the way, but they're in the mail and they may never be delivered. As Clem is at 200 supply, the ghosts have joined the fray. Another, I think a rally point over to the left. There are 6 lurkers in production, but Clem slows it down. He says, don't throw everything away quite yet. The army's better. The upgrades are better. The economy's better right now for Clem, or at least even. All he has to do is lock him down and knock him out. And falling back, the Widow Mines. Big fights out of the Zerg army. A few of the lurkers coming up, but there's already 9 ghosts to 6 lurkers on the field. Looking for the snipes, lines up the shots. The lurkers just don't have the range. He got range, but there are too many ghosts out there. Over to the right flank. It looks like lurkers sliced up some of the bio. Somehow, Serral is holding on, and in fact, he's pushing back. The Banelings are closing in. Incredible splits out of Clem, but some of the medevacs are left behind as well. Serral just will not die. The ghosts are closing in. Through all the fire and fury. Now, the Vipers are out. An EMP or even a snipe, if he can knock down 1 or 2 of the Vipers. Serral has been on the ropes, but right now, he's making a habit of it. He's using them to climb over. A counterattack, some lurkers. Liberator gonna make things difficult, but the lurkers split both sides. Clem has to look the other way now. Again, Serral's able to get some late game damage done, and Clem? Well, he's still got the army supply. Serral's at 170. He can't put enough on the field. The Widow Mines. Decent hits. Another one, though. That one hit more of the Terran. Liberator range on the way. There's 13 ghosts on the field. They're not a bad fighting unit. In fact, they have potentially more DPS against Lings and Hydras than Marine Marauder. Just auto-attacking. They are quite expensive for the cost, though. Wow. Serral is not dead, and in fact, he hasn't lost a base this whole game. 1 infestor dies. That might not be true for a moment. In a moment. It feels like I've been saying Serral should GG any second for about 5 minutes. And it's still true. But somehow he keeps holding. Oh my god. Clem. Nerves of steel. Or something of steel. As those medevacs, he knows they don't have enough damage with the parabombs. They don't stack. They only do enough to bring the medevacs into the red. And just hope there's no strong gust of wind or some turbulence. Liberator. Clem has money in the bank now, and he's building the late game army. There's not much more to build besides command centers. Loses some ghosts right off the bat. Widow Mine doesn't get a shot off in time. The ghosts are retreating here. 1 Liberator. Serral managed to max out for just a moment. Caduceus Reactor was queued up after advanced, but I see you, Clem. I see it. More scans. How many orbitals? 6 orbitals. Advanced Ballistics is done, making it that much harder. He's throwing Vipers at him. But Clem is keeping Serral pinned back. But Serral, the most dangerous when cornered. can't believe he's not dead. Right? This is ridiculous. It's still on Clem to close it out. Serral is starting to claw his way back in this war of attrition, but there are only so many bases to take. It's easy enough to narrow down. Look at that. Look at the mini-map. That when the Terran base looks like it has effectively more creep spread than the Zerg. Well, that's when things get difficult, but yanks out some of this. He yanks a bit, but the EMP hits the Vipers for the rest of their energy. Falling back further. A lot of the medevacs. He boosts them back. Gonna try to get out. The Vipers with no energy can't really participate. That's a lot of Hydras here. And he does, of course, have muscular augments and groovy spines. Building armor is done. Does that... Are the Banelings enough? Oh, no! Building armor saves the day! The Banelings! What a waste! Oh, that's a costly one. Serral was convinced, or at least was pretty sure he could get it. The Ghost hit by Fungal, but Serral's unable to turn the tides in time. He's yanking out some of it. EMPs on the rest. 160 supply. Serral comes back for more, but Clem stops him at the door. 5 Liberators at a time. Hydras are good, but the critical mass of Liberators is arguably better. More Banelings, more Lurkers. Clem still hasn't killed a hatchery, which is an insane, absolute madness. The Serral's production has been maintained at great cost. Oh. But losing the hatches is costlier. A Nidison towards the main. Clem, wow. That Liberator just sieging up at a disgusting location. The overlapping Venn diagram of freedom, making it impossible to engage without everything. The Lurkers into the main, but Liberators have already moved in to respond. The Liberators are just too much. Wow. Clem, that is... Wow. We're not done yet, Jimmy. We're going back to the spawning pool. Clem is able to work the map. Even from the very start, you saw that tank location, but Serral, God, you can't give him anything. You can't give him anything. He's so dangerous. Even, you cut off 2 of his legs, like both his legs and one of his arms. He'd pick up his leg with his remaining arm and start to hit you with it. Feels like somehow, I think he ended, the game ended without him losing a single hatch. I'm not sure if he lost that hatch at the very end, but he just couldn't take any more fights. He used everything, and it wasn't enough. Clem held the line. 1-1. Alcyone. Game 3. The tiebreaker. Like I said, a best of 1 is not a short series between these two. It is... They just keep getting better. I think Max Pax, Clem, and Serral. Serral just... I don't know. The hardest part, I think... I'm sure there's some official sports term in normie sports, but how hard it is to stay the best, because you have no one to it's gonna sound somewhat weird, but sharpen your sword against, which, yeah, that's a but there's no one who's better than you that you could say, well, I can measure myself against them. Are we doing phrasing? Serral has managed to maintain. His only weakness seems to be ZVZ. And weakness is a relative term, because he's still the best at that, just less unfairly so. I don't know how Serral practices. I don't know if he practices with Clem to beat all the other Terrans, but Clem still has, well, honestly, everyone but Serral now. Because Clem's only real opponent seems to be Serral, and maybe Max Pax on a good day. When in tournaments where Max Pax applies. I really do wonder. The mental fortitude it takes to stay at this level, to stay the best, is just incredible. Yeah, for example, to throw a particular player under the bus, but Maru has had a tendency in the past, and the reason why I think Maru's not in the conversation, greatest of all time, despite winning GSL, is everything else is such a struggle. Serral kills the Reaper because it happens by as the Zerglings get into the natural. He wants to keep as many Zerglings alive as possible, so he splits off one into the main. But Maru is notorious for, one, struggling with tournaments outside of GSL, and two, he'll win some, like he won 5 GSLs, and however many in a row as well. It then will drop out in the round of 32. Serral has had his hiccups, which are mostly leaving games early against Zergs in, like, the quarterfinals of tournaments. But the fact he is still a statistical outlier when it comes to a 90% plus win rate against the best players in the world, especially outside of ZVZ. There should be, like, studies done. He should donate his brain to science when he dies in 178 years. Assuming that's still possible for him. I'm not sure if I'm implying he won't die because he's a robot or something, or if whatever is the most amusing implication. I'm gonna go with he's ascended to a higher plane of being, and his corporeal form no longer exists, which means somebody else may win a StarCraft tournament in 2169. Look forward. Mark your calendars. Okay. I'll probably still be casting, don't worry. Like and subscribe. I say this after Clem just beat him. Because honestly, Clem playing in top form, the fact that, like, there are 6-7 minutes of that game where Serral was a mediocre fight away from losing, which is just... Clem's still struggling to close it out, despite his early advantage. We'll see. Oh my god, he's going double factory armory Widowmine rush. This is disgusting. I am disgusted. I mean, it's creative. It certainly could work. But Serral's gone for roaches to start, which are much stronger against early... Wait, did he see the second factory? I feel like this is partially Clem switching it up so Serral is somewhat bamboozled. As double factory Widowmine doesn't seem like something you do going for 3cc after a game where you just... I mean, the Widowmines are not that surprising, but it definitely is a significant swerve. I wouldn't say it's a U-turn, but it's maybe a detour towards that big game Marine Marauder. There's going to be so many mines, but the problem is Roach Ravager is a lot better suited. The splash damage isn't going to obliterate a third of the army, potentially, with each shot. Oh my god, it's changing. Hey, boys, in the pipe, 5x5, am I right? Am I right? Hey, where'd you guys get those shields? I'm gonna go get my shield at the armory. You guys got an armory? You mean the engineering bay? Why would I get an infantry weapon in an engineering bay? Doesn't make any sense. Wait a second. I mean, yeah, totally the armory. That's where I get my infantry weapons. That makes sense. The mech weapons are in the... Wait, no. The other... Now I'm confused. You're confusing me. Stop confusing me. Let's go do a Widow Mine drop or something. Maybe at some point Winter will stop doing this bit and we can move on with our lives, but it won't be this time. As Serral sees the entire drop coming out, he knows it. I can't believe that changeling actually worked. Oh my god, he saw the drop come out, and I bet you that Serral saw it load up too. He's watching. The Widow Mine's at the back. Oh, actually misses the split on the roaches, but as you can see, the Widow Mine's... Oh no, 10 drones down! Going for another drop does not respect the fact the Zerglings are here at all. Oh no. Big hit. 15 drones overall. He only gets 9 there. It looked worse than it was. He lost 9 mines in the last 30 seconds or so. So, despite how devastating that looked, it isn't cheap for Clem to do that. Losing 9 mines for just an equal amount. Well, 15 drones overall. Okay, it was still pretty good, but... Serral does clean it up. The problem is, there's nothing to really capitalize on the damage right now. He sacrificed his ability to do a marine tank push in order to get that mine drop, and ideally have the element of surprise. But the changeling, another mine drop coming in. Oh my god, this could be devastating. Nope, Serral realized. Little mine hits a lot of Zerglings, but Serral now has 5 base. He's already got Vipers finishing. Clem. Vipers are finishing. +2 Carapace is going to be finishing. 4th base is on the way, but Serral already has 5. Serral just... And that's why I say he's so dangerous. Like that last game, he wasn't tilting. It's just a rough map where he lost a lot of momentum, and he still made such a game of it. And now, Clem never really got out of the starting block before Serral got his economy established. There's still a lot of potential here. Clem's army is deadly. It's going to take a lot of effort to dismantle, especially if the Vipers aren't perfect. But Serral does have that hive tech so much quicker, and that's a very important point. Adrenal glands already done for the Zerglings, +2 Carapace. That gives Serral an upgrade advantage here. Parasitic Bomb, the Vipers, get over here! Brenda's revenge! Sorry, I blacked out for a second. And Serral just running over the field. Shuts down the medevacs, yanks them back into their death with Marines inside, and just batters the army on the field. Doesn't chase him up to the high ground, but instead uses this opportunity to consolidate his bases. That's a changeling, not a Widow Mine. All right. He's got the gold base. Not sure what that infester burrow is done. Serral's economy now in a very comfortable spot. If there was any sort of fragility, if there was any sort of difficulty, it is now evaporated. He's got all the map control. Clem can't make any more mistakes, and even if he doesn't, it might not be enough. The Widow Mines doing damage as well, combining with the Parasitic Bombs, using both flavors of splash damage. He takes out the medevacs with the Widow Mines. Serral using them against Clem. A poetic turnaround from the last game. Clem killed a medevac, 5 Marines, and a Marauder. Serral got 4 of them himself. That's the killing blow we're counting there. The Banelings are rolling in, and the target fire from the tank is good, but without building armor and without anything else to protect, looks like the Banelings are going to be enough. And the base goes down. Now, of course, there is a command center kind of right there, so it's not really that big a deal, but it is troublesome. He loses 14 SCVs, and Serral will just keep re-maxing. 300 supply Zerg implies, well, we've got 100 in the bank. Serral usually has more than that. We got Overlord drops on the way. Is he gonna do some Baneling drops? Really, at this point, a lot of options on the table. Ultralisks in production as well. More Widowmine drops heading out from Clem. Gonna try to keep Serral at bay. Oh, those are changelings. Okay. Serral's so patient. Like a praying mantis. Alright. Oh, EMP? Oh, but where's the infester? Where's the infester? Well, that choke point is not so great. Wow. Widowmine did a lot of damage there. Wow, the battle has continued for 3.5 minutes. It's been 3.5 minutes before there was a lull in the action. There's still, even though there was a bit of downtime there overall, Serral's still getting the better end of it. But it's not so much about cost efficiency as claiming territory right now. As Serral will beat the army off the map and put his back up against one of his bases, and then bring the hammer down against the anvil. That is the planetary. Alright. Both sides are maxed out, though. Widowmine drop. Drone's already scampering away. Scans looking to see if he's much further behind than he thought. There are burrowed Zerglings already pre-established at these bases. But the Overlord drop is spotted here. Serral actually manages to back off in time. The Vikings, he needs more Overlords, actually. He's chasing down. We'll see how much supply he commits. This isn't really that much supply of Zerglings. And that's a lot of the army of Clem, possibly out of position here. EMP hits the Vipers before they can get anything off, though. The Banelings, ooh, hit by incidental fire from the Widowmine. Another shot comes through, but the Ultras, well, struggling to find particularly much progress. Clem scrambling back, but this is a bit of a piecemeal attack. And Serral may have to retreat without even killing the planetary again. Oh, Clem. He's turning it around. That was a costly fight. Apparently I lied. Serral's still managing to do more damage. He killed a couple ghosts with that got. I guess he didn't lose any Ultras. Oh, the Banelings don't count. The Banelings, if they attack, they don't count on the units lost. That's why it's kind of skewed. But overall resources lost is a bit more accurate there. I was wondering, it felt like, because when Banelings attack, they've succeeded. They haven't been lost. Which is, you know, a bit of a technicality, but, and kind of hardcore. But, oh, did he just throw Banelings into, I don't think he did. He may have. Throw Banelings into the rocks. But opening up more of the map. Serral's got to be careful. He might have a bunch of money in the bank, but Clem can lock this map down. He gets enough ghosts and liberators. EMP actually doesn't quite land. Ultras, Widowmine softening things up. Parasitic Bomb onto the liberators. More Banelings making their way in. Pushing Clem back to the corner of the map, the ends of the earth here. 114 Zerglings in production. 18 and an Ultra. Throw it in there. As Serral remaxes instantaneously. Clem didn't do so bad himself, but Serral is looking to bludgeon Clem out of this game. He's not playing that methodical style. He doesn't have a greater spire for Broodlords. He wants to smash him to pieces. Clem, though, is holding. The Widowmines are eternally annoying. Spore Crawler coming down. Liberator heading out. Advanced Ballistics is done. Caduceus Reactor has not been built yet. Queen's come down to deal with the mine, but... Oh, there is a Spire! Which I should have known because there's +2 flyer attack on the way. Serral has been working towards that for a while, but the Queen... Karen, come on, help me out here! The Widowmine's huge hit! EMPs on the Vipers. Clem does everything he can to start the fight. We'll see if Serral can finish it. Banelings rolling in, the planetary. Eating a lot of them. A costly endeavor again for Serral, but one he can afford. The income? Well, the Corruptors are going to have to deal with the Liberators. Clem still has the command centers to rebuild, but look at the money. Serral still has money in the bank. He's only lost 4,000 more minerals and about 1,000 more gas. Which, he has more than enough bases to afford that. Wow, Vikings to clear Corruptors so the Liberator can get into the untouchable spot. Over Dropper Lords. God, they're so good. Again, now this is Clem's martyr game. It feels like Serral is inevitable, but Clem refuses to die. And we're gonna take a break after these messages. Okay, we're back. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Not sure what happened there. Oh, crazy, a pause at this time. Though a good pause timing. We waited before, well, there was no fight happening. Very, very mannered for whatever issue we had. Well, the snipes lining up. The ghosts will cloak. The orbital will lift. An orbital this time, not a planetary for him to smash. The ultras are thinning out. And again, Clem will hold, and again, Serral will rebuild. Another 100 Zerglings. Another dozen ultras. How many times can Serral continue to rebuild? And how many times can Clem hold the line? 500 Zerglings down. Only 8 ultras. Okay, it's felt like more. But feelings do not respect what the facts tell us, and vice versa. Oh, the infestors are what we were missing. There was a missing piece of the puzzle. It's the infestors to lock down the ghosts. Oh my god, the burrowed Zergling. There are 6 orbitals. There should be a scan ready. There's not so many you can scan at all times, but we're getting there. Neural Parasite is done as well. Liberators are a pretty good counter to ghosts. There's one Whittle Mine. Looking for a great... Oh, he sees it. Oh, a Viper is killed by a mine on the other side, though. Big hit there, but the Infestor! And it has 2 fungals banked! He could go for more either way. That initial fungal carves open the opportunity. The Ultras are running him all the way back. And Serral will again force Clem. This time, another Infestor! The finisher! Oh no! A disaster for Clem, but an inevitability for Serral. And in a game almost equal in length to the previous one. Assuming Clem taps it up. Clem, are you not... Oh, I really thought he would leave there. But, almost equal time, just under 20 minutes. Clem holds, he holds, but at the end of the day, it's not enough. Serral takes back the momentum, and he rolls over the field with the help of the Infestors to keep Clem pinned down. Another incredible game, but bringing us to match point for the finisher. God, they're so good. It's ridiculous. This is insane. I don't... It's the games where it's not like anyone's really making a mistake. The mistakes are made on the strategy side of things, arguably. Like, for example, Clem going for 2 factory mines against Serral going roaches. Is that even a mistake? It's arguable, I think. Maybe. But it's not a mistake in the sense of he just lost a bunch of units for no reason. But strategically, he was left in a tough position. Now, he played incredibly well from that position, but it's intimidating, it's impressive, it's arousing, it's incredible, the level they're at. It's essentially impossible to really comprehend. Now, Serral doing a 16 hatch, so this has kind of regained popularity. The extractor trick in order to get an extra supply, trick the game into thinking you've already expended a drone and then bringing it back. This way, you get your second hatchery up quicker and potentially get queens, and generally, you are less vulnerable to early pools. You get your queens and your creep spread potentially started quicker. It does come at the slight cost of economy. You don't get quite as many drones as quickly, but you can get a lot more drones later if you're not taking damage to Reapers, for example, so. But Serral on match point of claiming his 5th Homestory Cup, which would make approximately 1/5 of all the Homestory Cups. Right, he's hogging the cups. Clem? I don't think it's impossible. It's kind of crazy how much it's such a duel as well. Like, Serral can have the edge, or Clem can have the edge for 5-10 minutes, but not quite get the killing blow. And only with, like, one dramatic finishing move can they even get close. What was that? Oh, yeah. And considering Serral has only really been a professional player throughout Legacy of the Void, he wasn't, apparently, as we learned in his signature series a couple years ago, his brother was a semi-pro player early in Wings of Liberty, his older brother. Imagine being Serral's older brother today, knowing that at some point you beat him, because that's what he did. Serral was just starting out. His brother, semi-pro. So, like, it's gotta be tough. I mean, seems like very supportive family, but it's like being Wayne reminds me of the Reddit level stat of Wayne Gretzky again, where the top two, like the top two brothers in the NHL, the National Hockey League, which includes Canada and also several other countries that also have hockey players for some reason. But Wayne Gretzky and his brother, I'm gonna say Todd, which sounds like a Canadian hockey player name, have combined the most points of any two brothers in the league, despite there being several examples. Wayne Gretzky coming in at about 2,500 points, and his brother Todd at 2. And that, I'm not sure that's the relationship of the reference that Serral's older brother would like. But that is probably an accurate statistic as well. Oh, the Cyclones were spotted, and he intercepts them with the Zerglings. Oh, he knows how to deal with the build. And Clem, Serral overbuilt Lings a lot more than he did in Game 1 in order to undercut the Cyclones. And now he's going to pick up... Oh, what a... Wow. And you know, that little exchange there, where Serral got the surround, Clem dodged it, and Serral didn't chase. He instantly decided, I've been beaten. All right, he got me on that one. Just the amount of time it took him to decide he would no longer chase. God. Clem adapted as quickly as possible, but Serral, in undercutting those first two Cyclones, has carved a lot of space for himself. Clem invested in Cyclone speed. And now he has 4 Cyclones with which to use it, potentially. Going on 6. But it should have been 8, which is almost impossible. Just the sheer number is almost impossible for Zerglings to handle, as the physical size of those... Oh my god, what a save. For now.
What a save!
Cyclones. He's not willing to get surrounded again. He's not risking it. Serral is still quite low on the drone count, as he did have to cut into that potential economy to build the Zerglings early. They're not free. They cost larvae, cost minerals. They're so cute. And now Clem gonna carve out the third. Just a single Zergling. Annoying on the other side, but any amount of attention dragged away. Now there roaches 69 drones for Serral. Roach Ravager on the way. That's a lot. Like, it's just, like I said, he builds 10, 12 Cyclones. Still a bio build. Stim is on the way, but Serral with the counterattack. The Zerglings again. He gets 7 SCVs. Oh, no. And there's no wall. It's a disaster for the Frenchmen. The little mistakes are adding up and creating a big advantage. Serral forces the issue. A dozen SCVs, and he forces the Cyclones back. Cyclones looking a weird direction now. Set it up. The Roach Ravager is already enough. He's gonna lose a few roaches. Roach speed is done, though. And the Cyclones can, even with speed, barely outrun them, even off a creep. The Cyclones are really just an early mid-game unit. They're so fragile at this stage. And the Roach Ravager looking to slam the point home. Now, there's still a lot of Cyclones. Oh, actually hits with the Corrosive Bile. He's whittling it down. Stim is done. 1-1 is finishing up. Clem doing a good job of minimizing damage. There's already a hive on the way for Serral. He's almost gets the Ravager. Clem, God, if he hadn't lost those dozen SCVs, he'd be in a pretty good spot here. But Serral is able to just throw roaches and Ravagers, just a meat shield, to keep Clem off his back. But behind it, there's a hive. There's plenty of Zerglings. I assume he has a Bane Nest. Surprisingly, he doesn't. But the Hydralisk Den has completed. And Serral, Clem is not willing to let Serral go. He needs everything he can get, but it's getting too costly. The Roaches and Ravagers are closing in. Combat Shield is not even being researched. Clem realizes, but, that's a painful one. Lurker Den, on the way. Hive, nearly complete. 2-2 in production. As Clem sends out a double drop. Finally, a bit of breathing room. We'll see how long it lasts. Transfusing some roaches, why not? Spots the medevacs. Vipers are on the way. The Queens, no. They say no. Widowmine drop. Just setting up. He does have an armory. Double drop picked up. Serral's maxed out. Lurker's on the way. He's just backing, like, the patience, though. He has the army supply. He maybe could have smashed Clem. But why risk it? Vipers, Hive Tech Lurkers. Lot safer bet. Widowmine's on the way. If he can get a huge Widowmine drop and hold an attack. The Ghost Academy just started, but the Vipers are fully operational. Serral now maxed out and starting to bank money. Clem needs to hold. Another tough spot. Possibly the worst one so far. As the upgrades are not really there. He doesn't really have the unit composition that's going to deal with this. He's just going to have to micro. Lurker range is done. The Widowmine's diffused. He could have ducked, and he does drags the tanks into the Lurkers. There are no ghosts to prevent him from doing it again. Gets another tank. And the Roach Ravager taking some big hits, but the Lurkers are still almost in pristine condition. Closing in. There's a blinding cloud, shuts down the tanks. He has diffused most of the long-range damage. And that will allow the units to continue to close in, but Clem holding the line. 4 ghosts in production. Significant switch. The Lurkers move forward. Adaptive Talon not quite done yet. The tanks rebuilt. Clem keeping his cool. Gets a snipe. Knocks out one Lurker. Serral is not yet threatening the bases, but he's not too far away from cutting off production. Viking knocked down by Corrosive Bow. Another lurker over to the right flank. Any one of these could be the devastating attack. Has to back off, loses a lot of the Marines and Marauders. Again. The lurkers are closing in. And Clem, I don't think he has enough. Serral. Slicing through. And GG! Serral closes it out, the finisher! Claims victory yet again, and another Homestory Cup, another trophy to his already overfull cabinet and dresser. Yes, if you've ever watched his stream, you'll know that he is running out of places to put trophies. And he's gonna have to find a little bit more. A remarkably decisive game for another incredible series. Yes, we keep seeing Serral versus Clem, and they keep proving why they are the best. Serral's still maintaining that edge. I don't know how he does it, but he does it so damn well. Thank you for watching. Thank you to TakeTV, as always, for putting on Homestory Cups, even to this day. Hopefully, you enjoyed my take on the finals. And hopefully I made your day a little bit better. Congratulations to Serral on continuing to prove why he's the best. If you guys got the means and motivation, be awesome to check out Patreon. Thank you, especially Super Pylons, for making my day a little bit better. YouTube membership as well. I hope you guys are enjoying. I try to cover the best games, and even if that means the same players, they're still amazing. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.